So to kind of recap, you can now see that all of these braces are just elements of that curtain wall construction. You can facilitate an easy replacement in your project if you align that curtain wall so that the grid lines are equal to the floor spacing. That'll make it pretty easy to substitute all of the elements out quickly. I don't expect you to substitute all of your shear walls. If you look at this example that I have here on the right, I've only done one end of the building, showing this idea of substituting out the brace system as compared to the concrete system. I hope this is a good intellectual experiment, making you think about this idea of substituting materials that can still have the same kind of performance, especially when we look at using heavy timber, which has enough fire resistance to stay structurally sound, but in the applications of the shear walls that are used in the elevator cores and the shaft walls, the stairwell egresses, that gypsum board offers that same kind of performance for fire rating between the building components. In a previous video, I mentioned the idea of the shaft wall protecting fire from spreading through the building. But when we're talking about egress, the real primary reason of that shaft wall fire rating is to protect the egress path. So no fire can enter from any of the floors. And really the primary concern with fire protection here is the safe exit of the occupants of the building. That secondary function of preventing spreading between the floor layers because of the cutout. It's really a secondary function. And I really should have punched that up when I first mentioned it. So this is a nice place for us as architects to think about how we can reduce the carbon footprint of our building by trying to eliminate concrete and still having high performance building elements that address those issues. So I hope it's a relatively simple replacement for the module that you've created. I don't expect, as I said, I don't expect it to be the whole building replaced out, but some sections showing where you would replace concrete or other kinds of shear walls that we've created with these elements into some sort of presentation that looks something like this. And also a little narrative. This is new. I had this in the program a few years ago. I'm just reintroducing it this year, the fall of 2022. Your comments will be really important about how this gets modified. This is an important part of the course, or should be an important part because of the NAB criteria. We need to do some, good in-depth thinking about this kind of structural integrity in the buildings we construct. So I'd be really interested in your feedback.